Ham Radio 2.0, live from the Ham Shack. Okay, good afternoon. It is afternoon where I'm at right now, I think. Grab my phone here. It is, it's noon. 4 minutes till noon, according to my phone. So good morning. Good morning and welcome to Ham Radio 2.0, live from the Ham Shack. My name's Jason. I'm KC5HWB. This is my video podcast series that airs on YouTube, on Patreon, and on my website at livefromthehamshack.tv. If you go to livefromthehamshack.tv or patreon.com, you can find me there, and I've got a small blog post on top of every video. I don't have all my videos posted on Patreon, but I do have them all posted on livefromthehamshack.tv. This is going to be episode 42, I think. I think this is going to be 42. And I know I've got 41 episodes up as I'm recording this, but I'm not sure if this is going to be the next one or the following one, so it may be 43. We'll see. So this is going to be another DMR radio from BFDX, Bravo Foxtrot Delta X-Ray. And yes, they are a Chinese radio. And you might see them sometimes referred to as Beifeng Company, Beifeng, Beifeng Limited or something like that. I've heard people say online, oh, that must be a Beifeng copy. Quite the opposite. These are much better radios than a Beifeng. It's a completely different company than Beifeng. Pofeng, as they're called now. Has nothing at all to do with the Beifeng, I assure you. So Beifeng, at the time of this video, does not make a DMR radio. They say that they're planning on it. I don't know. Maybe they will. If they come out with one, it'll probably make the TYT look like a Motorola. But, and I don't have anything against Beifengs, don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm saying. But they are the extremely low end of the radio market. Everybody knows that. That's why everybody owns like 2 or 3 of them, because they're so cheap. So nothing wrong with that. But this radio, BFDX, this company, is not the same company as Beifeng. So I just wanted to make that clear up front. This is BFDX, Bravo Foxtrot Delta X-Ray. I forget what it stands for right now. But these are actually some of the first radios that I got when I first started carrying DMR radios in 2014. They were some of the first to market in the States, and I'm talking about they were some of the first Chinese radios to market in the States. I'll put it like that. Motorola, of course, has been around a long time. Vertex Standard, Hytera, and a couple of others. Tytera, the BFDX has been making radios longer than Tytera has. The famous MD380, MD390 radios. Those are newer than the BFDX radios are. So the BFDX TD-501 was their first little HT, monoband HT that would do DMR. And it would do analog, but they didn't have a tone board in it for some reason. So people were upset about that. If you go look up the BFDX TD-501 on eHam or on Amazon, I think there's a listing on Amazon. The reviews on it are pretty middle of the road to negative. They're not very good. It worked great on DMR. But if you wanted a radio for analog use also, it's kind of worthless because it wouldn't work repeaters unless your repeater has no PL tone. So that quickly phased out. I had a couple of those up front and I tested them. They worked okay, but like I said, no analog to speak of. So then dropped the TD-503, which was a larger format and a larger radio with a bigger battery, a bigger antenna, and a bigger screen, and which was their first color screen. The TD-501 had a black and white screen. The TD-503 was a full color screen. It gave you lots of options on the screen, told you your transmit and receive frequency both, so you could make sure that your offset was correct by looking at the screen. It told you your zone name and it told you your channel name. And then it had little icons at top of the screen that would tell you if you were talking in talk around mode, which is to say simplex mode. If you were talking in, if your GPS was some of the TD-503s had GPS enabled. I never got one with GPS enabled because GPS is not enabled on the DMR Mark network, so it's not really useful to amateurs in my area. Now, I think that might be changing, and I think perhaps the Brandmeister network has GPS enabled. I don't know. I'm going to have to double check on that, because if they do, then it would work similar to a fusion radio, in where you could see the distance between you and the station you're talking to. Or it would see, you could go into the GPS menu, and the GPS will tell you your location on the TD-503 with GPS. But that's, it's like a menu with this 2 or 3 clicks deep, and it doesn't say it on the main screen. So I'm kind of like, well, no, if I ever get lost, I guess I have GPS. But I didn't really see the point in it myself. It wouldn't tell you anything about the GPS on the main screen or when you were talking to another station, so I didn't really ever focus on that too much. But the TD-503 was really good. It was bigger than the 501. It was very durable. It was very well built. You could tell by holding it in your hand, it felt more like a solid radio than a piece of plastic that's going to shatter if you drop it on the ground. And I sold a few of those up front, and quite frankly, I had a lot of commercial people contact me. Sold several of those radios to churches and businesses who were setting up DMR for their private use, have a business band frequency, and you can use encryption. We can't use encryption on amateur radio, not legally, but the radios do. Pretty much all DMR radios have capability of encryption, and you can, if you've got a commercial business or a public safety band that you have access to, and you want to use encryption, you can certainly do that. So these radios provide that feature as well. The drawback that kind of why I backed off of carrying the TD-503s for the longest time, and also its big brother, the MD-720 is the mobile version. The TD-503 and the MD-720 were out about the same time, and both of them had the same problem, which I don't call it. It's not a problem. It's just not a feature that we as amateurs are really. Well, we want more features than this, but what I'm beating around the bush about is both the TD-503 and the MD-720 were limited to 160 contacts and 160 channels. So if you're a commercial user, that's not a big deal, because you're probably going to be talking on 4 or 5 channels. And you're small business, you're going to have a dozen people, maybe a couple dozen people with radios, and that's about it. If you're a tow truck company, something like that. So it's not a big deal for the commercial user, but we as amateurs, even the Tytera MD380 has 1,000 channels in it. The new Connect Systems radios will hold 65,000 channels, so they claim. I've never been able to get my CS800 to hold that many, but it does hold more than 1,000. It at least holds a couple thousand contacts. I'm talking about. Did I say channel? I might have said channels. I'm talking about contacts. If you wanted to load your contacts for everybody in North America, all the amateur radio operators in North America, into your code plug and load them in the radio, you're going to be at greater than 1,000. So the only radio currently that will do that is the Connect System CS750 and CS800. And like I said, a couple of friends created a spreadsheet and loaded all DMR contacts worldwide into a code plug for CS800. And one guy said he got it to work and it was working fine, but I loaded it to my radio and it kept, every time someone would key up, the radio would reboot. So it didn't work. But I've got one of the original CS800s, so the newer models with the newer firmware may not, well, mine's got the newest firmware, but some of the newer models with newer hardware, you may not have that problem. But regardless, it's more than 1,000 contacts, and that's my point here. The Tytera will hold 1,000, the Puxing holds 1,000, the Zastone holds 1,000. The Kydera, the KYD models, the HTs at least, I think they're only at 256. But these BFDX ones, they're 160. So that was a drawback. That's why I kind of backed off on the TD-503 for a while, because they just didn't have the number of contacts or channels. It was 160 contacts and 160 channels. 160 channels may not, if you live in an area with only 1 or 2 DMR repeaters, 160 channels is plenty. unless you do a lot of traveling and you like to take your DMR radio with you. But 160 contacts, that's what's gonna kind of shut the door to most amateurs. So so I stopped carrying those. Well, I didn't they'll still on my website. I just never did restock them for a while. Well, lately, and we're going to see this in 1 minute, BFDX came out with a new model. It's the TD-505, and it's a little bit smaller. It's still got the same size full color screen that the 503 has. And while the TD-505 is still limited to the 160 contacts and channels both, they have come out with an updated firmware version for the TD-503, which will hold 1,000 channels. Still limited to the 160 contacts. So, if you are, like I said a minute ago, if you're a commercial user, this might be a great radio for you. The price point's good, much better than a Vertex Standard or a Motorola. The quality's good. The audio quality is fantastic. And they've got really great receivers. You're just going to be limited on some contacts and channels. So let's take a look at the TD-503 and 505. I've got both in the video today, and going to be really glad to finally put these radios up on a video, because I've had the 503 for a couple of years now, and I've never done a video about it because of the explanations that I just said. But I'm glad to have the opportunity to finally get a video of these BFDX radios. They're good radios, they are. They just don't have some of the features that we as amateurs like. So let's take a look at the BFDX TD-503 and 505. I got a couple of customers who wanted a 503 recently, so I went ahead and ordered a few of each model. So I've got those in stock on the website. And they're really good radios. They work great. I think you'll be really happy with them if you are not one of these people who needs the 1,000 contacts and channels. So thanks for watching the video, guys. If you found me on YouTube or on Patreon, go hit up my website at livefromthehamshack.tv. You'll be able to see all the videos I've done to date in order. Again, I think this is episode 42 or 43, somewhere in there. And be able to talk to me about videos that are upcoming as well. So 73, thanks for watching. Let's take a look at this radio. Here we have the boxes for the BFDX radios. This one here with the actual branding on it is for the TD-505, which is this rig right here. This is their newest DMR HT. It's smaller than the 503. It's still got the same type of programming cable, the blade type of programming cable on the side.
1, 2.
It still talks to you.
3, 4, 5.
It's got quite a bit. It's got the transmit and receive frequency on the screen, along with the zone number and the channel name, or the channel number. You can probably change when you go to program. You can probably change the channel name to whatever you want. It's just named channel 5 right now.
6, 4, 2, 1.
Just like that. This guy, and this came out of this box, which I already opened it. Let's see. Just a standard desktop charger for it, proprietary of course, and belt clip charger. The cable is in here. It looks like this. The cable does not come with the radio. Like most DMR radios, the cable was sold separately, but it's got this blade connector on it like that. And it looks smaller than the one for the TD-503, which is the one I've been carrying for the longest time. So I don't think that they're proprietary, but we'll look at the 503 now. We'll see what we find on that. I don't think they're interchangeable is what I'm saying. I think they are proprietary. So yeah, this one's quite a bit bigger. Thicker this way. This is but it's a bigger radio. This is the TD-503. This one was very popular up front when the DMR first came online. BFDX has been a DMR association member since almost day one. If you go look up their FCC information on their website, they have a large hand in the DMR community for commercial radios, other kinds of stuff. Where's my antenna? Okay, I don't have an antenna. That's strange. There's no antenna in this case. It's very weird. I've never opened this box before. Let me open this. No. It's the only one I've got of this model. Okay. I'll have to rectify that. I'll have to email those guys and say, send me an antenna. But you can see the size difference of the, let me zoom out here a little bit. This is the TD-503, the one that's been out for a long time, and this is the TD-505 on the right. So it's smaller, it's lighter. This one right here is pretty stout. This one right here is stout also, but it's not nearly as heavy just because it's smaller. Big color screen, like all of them do. The drawback, as I said earlier, limited to 160 channels and contacts. Now this guy, the 503, they've got some new software out that will allow you to program up to 1,000 channels in this radio, but it's still only limited to 160 contacts. This one right here is 160, both contacts and channels, as of right now, as of the time of this video. So, they're nice rigs. I really like them. They were some of my favorites for a while, and when they came out, there wasn't very many options besides if you wanted to buy a Motorola or a Hytera or a Vertex standard and pay several $100s, you could get this one for about $250. This one's a little bit less. I think it's closer to the 200 mark. And they work well. They sound good. They're just limited on channel and contact capacity. So if you're not an amateur radio operator, if you're a commercial radio operator, or you have a business where you have a half dozen, couple dozen guys on a DMR system, this might be a really good radio because it's commercially based. That's why they don't seem to put any emphasis in the large number of contacts and channels that we as amateurs like. But if you have other needs besides amateur radio for them, this might be a good choice for you. They sound great. They're very durable, easy to program, and the software works really well. And it is also compatible with the Windows 10, so that's a plus for some people. And that's the BFDX radios. For this segment, I just wanted to show you guys what the BFDX programming software looked like. I've got this new screen capture program running on my computer now. This is the same computer where I do my video editing. And I'm team viewered into my programming laptop, which is where the software is installed. So I wanted to show just, what the software looked like. So the BFDX software will cover the 500, 501, TD-503, and the MT-7250. The MT-7250 I didn't feature in this video. It is the mobile unit. I might do another video on that later on. And then, of course, you've got these 4 different bands that it's in. This 350 to 390, I don't know what that's used for. It's nothing in the United States. But you can get low split and high split UHF and then VHF, of course. You can get... okay, start here. I might cut that out and I might not. I'll cut this part out. But you can get low split. You can get low split and high split UHF and VHF, of course. So the TD-505 is not listed in this software because it's newer than what this software is. I do have another piece of software for the TD-505. I just don't have it installed right now, but it looks the same. I saw some screenshots of it a while back, and it looks exactly the same.
Let's start again. So we can go here. I'm just going to go ahead and create TD-503 for the low split UHF. And here we are. This is what it looks like. It's similar to the TYT software for those of you who've seen that. You've got your general settings here, which you set your device name and your subscriber ID. Repeater ID is not necessary for unless you're programming a repeater, which BFDX makes those as well. You can set your buttons here. You've got an orange button on the top and 2 buttons on the side, and each button has a long press and a short press option. The short message is for text messaging. The menu settings, you can go through this. GPS settings. Some of these radios have GPS and some of them do not. They come in both versions. The TD-503 comes both with and without GPS. I had one of the GPS versions early on. I found that it was basically useless. I mean, you could go into the GPS menu and it would tell you your location. But as far as working on the DMR mark system, they don't have it enabled, so it's kind of pointless. So these are signaling services, and this is your address list right here. This is where you would put all your call IDs. You can add group call. Group call, of course, is your talk group. Talk group 1 is worldwide. Talk group 2 would be metro. And you can go here, just like that. RX groups we've talked about before. This is where you can put different groups into a receive group, so that you can listen to all the activity going on a time slot. And then, of course, these are your zones. You can go in here and add a zone, and then go into the zone and add. I'm right-clicking to get this menu to come up, by the way. Add a digital channel. Digital channels, let's see. Well, 125, yeah, that's my repeater there. Offset was going to be 5 megahertz. And this changes over here. These are your talk groups. This is your repeater slot and time slot, color code, scan list, receive group, and you can add all these just by right-clicking on all these menus right here. Add. Home. I don't know why that keeps coming up. It only comes up, it only does that when I'm doing TeamViewer. So, and then of course you can add your scan list here. So that's a quick look at the BFDX TD-503 programming software.
Okay, that is the BFDX TD-503 and 505, the big brother and the little brother. HT radios from BFDX out of China. Pretty solid, pretty good looking screens, pretty good performance overall. Just like I said earlier, the drawback is the channels and the contacts. So if you have a commercial need for a radio, I would recommend these. They're good for what they are. If you don't want to spend the money on a Motorola. If you'd rather spend money on a Motorola, it's definitely get better. Motorola is going to be definitely a better quality, no question there. It's not a Motorola quality, but it's better than a Connect Systems and Tytera quality, in my opinion. I've used 8 or 10 different DMR rigs, and this might even still be my daily carry if it held the 1,000 channels and contacts, because I like the way it works. I like the way it works, I like the way it feels, and I like the way it looks. So, anyway, that's enough about that. So, thanks for watching, guys. Thank you for your support. This video is just one of my DMR videos. I'm going to be doing another video coming up about how to DMR. I get a lot of questions about how was this, what's a color code, what's a talk group, what's a time slot, and that kind of thing. So I'm going to be doing an episode upcoming called How to DMR, as in I'm going to use DMR as a verb. So that's what how do you English. That's what a lot of people today say. If you're on the internet, not on the internet, you don't know what I'm talking about, but whatever. So, looking forward to upcoming. At the time of this video is shot. This is the beginning of summer, 2016. Going to be a lot of cool stuff upcoming this summer. Hamcom in Texas, Field Day in North America, which I'll be participating with the Hearst Amateur Radio Club again this year. Got a couple of ham fests in July, Texas City and Oklahoma City. Looking forward to those. And then in August, I've got a really big ham fest in Albuquerque. And then Joplin is towards the end of that month. And Joplin was my first recorded Hamfest last year when I started the Hamfest Circuit Series, which I've backed off on now because those don't seem to get the hits that I was hoping they would. I was hoping people from other areas would say, oh, I can't ever go to this one, but let me look at the video and see what it looks like. So I'll probably record some footage at Joplin, though, because Joplin's a really big Hamfest, and I really enjoyed recording Dayton. So the larger ones I'm probably still going to do. By the time this video airs, you'll probably have even seen my video for Hamcom. This is probably going to be either the one right before or right after Hamcom. I haven't decided yet, so I'm just getting stuff on camera right now. So thank you for watching, guys. 73. Hope to hear you out there sometime. This is Ham Radio 2.0, live from the hamshack.tv. My name's Jason, KC5HWB. I'll be QRT.